Here we are out in the back, the bamboo. Now, this bamboo, if you can see it here, all this, all the way to there. And then, I don't know if you can see the bamboo on the other side of the fence. I got a big old cluster over here. Which is behind the tree over there as well. And there's also another little cluster. You might be able to see it down the back there. And way over in the corner on the property line, there's another cluster about the size of that, which I'm not going to walk way over there now. But anyway, all that started from 6 little shoots. 6 little stalks, about 3 feet high. And I had it up there in that dip in the ground. I don't know if you can see that little dip in the ground. That's where I originally planted them because I had a fence there. And they started taking over the yard, and they actually filled in like a 30 by 25 area. And they went down about 3 feet. That's why I have that big dip in the yard, because they were really taking the yard over. I mean, big time. Now this is our wildflower garden with an old potbelly out here. That's a tree we took down, but we decided to leave the stump, which was a bad idea, because we wanted this to look kind of like a wildflower garden. And as you can see, the boys decided to start to rearrange the stove here, the old potbelly. So, come on, get out of the way. There must have been a rodent or something that decided to nest in there, and they decided to tear it apart. And then we have an old plow here. So, now it looks like a mesh right now, but in the summer it looks nice. You know, with all the little bunch of wildflowers and things growing. Now that tree used to be like a Chinese chestnut tree. That tree was monstrous, and it had these monster limbs that would stick out, you know, and then shoot up, and it covered. But the acorns had spikes on over them, you know, those thorns, and they were a pain in the ass, literally. So I cut it, and it started growing again. This thing is as green can be. All these new sprouts, this was all trunk. All these sprouts started to grow once I cut it. And I put a condo up there for the birds. That'll hold something like 16 different types of birds and birds' nests if they wanted to use it. So, but this is the wild garden, the wildflower garden down here in the back. The wife used to like, well, she still likes, she likes wildflowers. You know, and I didn't want them just growing wild, so I decided to give her an area back here where all these, this is where these cylinders are. We get all these cylinders for nothing. So at that point, we used them to make a little retainer, and that's her little wildflower garden. So. And that's it. Now those cylinders, believe it or not, you put those next to a holly bush, which I had, and the holly started doubling its growing almost instantly. It went from like 3 feet to, well, I'll show you, from like a little 3-foot bush up to about an 8-foot bush in a year. The thing grew phenomenal. And I remember that when I had the holly bush. When we built the house, we had concrete stairs, prefabs put in, and we noticed when we planted the hollies there, they did phenomenal versus where they were planted in other places. And the soil wasn't any better or any different. So I said, you know what, I'm going to put a couple of these cylinders up there just to see what happens. And I'll tell you what, the hollies and the arborvitaes, they went nuts. So I even use them in the garden because they help. It must be the lime or something in the stone. It's got to be. All right, I got to do some work. I got to get some trees out of there today. It's a nice day, and I got one that came down. So I want to cut it up and pull it out of there. So I can, it's been down now for a year, so I can probably start to burn it once I get it cut. So I gotta cut it up and get it out of there. See it? Right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim it off. I'll cut it in maybe 10-foot or 12-foot lengths. Probably 10, 11, because I cut it about 2.5 feet for the wood stove, and I could drop off 10-foot lengths, and then I'll just go over there and I can drag them over here with the tractor, and I can split them right here with the splitter, and then just throw them in the bucket, and then take them wherever I want. And down in there, that's my hole. That's where that green trailer over yonder is going to go. That trailer's coming out of there, and it's going to be driven over here and put down inside that hole. And really not for the reasons that some people may think, even though it would be good for that. I actually want it because I want to be able to park the yard tractors and things under there. And have it covered so that I would have more lawn space. I don't like that look over there. So I want to kind of have just lawn. Plus I want to enlarge the garden on that side over there. That's where the yard gets most of the sun during the day. So by getting that out of there. And again, like I say, I don't like all this stuff above ground. I just don't like to see it. And these cylinders, those were for the dogs to play in. I had those underground at one time with an opening and closing, and they used to have a good time in there. But then they kind of grew out of it, so I decided, well, let me get them out of the ground and just put them up there. So they kind of jump in them and go through them, and I roll them around and do different things with them. And then up there, if you can see it, that's where those two big trees are that fell down last year when we had that storm. And those are going to be a pain in the ass to get down because I just can't cut them up and drop them over the fence because of that mountain that's there. So I'm going to have to cut those up. That root, somehow or other, I'm going to have to retain or restrain that from falling, because if it falls, it's going to fall on the fence and knock it down. So somehow or other, I got to get that root tied in, secured somehow, so it's not going to fall into the yard and break the fence. Then I'm going to cut that up, and I got to pull it that way down to that property line, down over in there, on the other side of where that tree is, and then I can pull it this way over to here so I can work on it again. So my main thing is getting it cut up into small enough sizes so I can pull it down through there. And I'm going to have to make a nose cone as well. This way it won't get caught on any other trees when I'm bringing it down through. So it's not too bad. And they're not that hard. They're not hard to make either. So that's my story. And then I got all that down in the back there. I may or may not do anything with, I don't know. And then there's a pond over in there that you can't see right now. But we'll see what happens, a little bit at a time. Right now I've got a mess here. Don't ask me where that came from, because I really don't remember. I really don't remember where that came from. This stuff was given to me. And this is some good stuff, so I'm going to kind of go through it and see what I can cut and salvage and maybe trim the ends off it and see what I end up with. But this is good stuff. As you can see, that's probably 5.5. That's probably a 6 by 10. Well, that's what it's supposed to be. And maybe a 6 by 8. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see what happens with that this summer. I'm not going to worry about it right now. It's not going to get any worse sitting here. And I got it piled up there anyway. So that's my job. So let me get done what I got to do. I don't want to bore you guys with all kinds of crap that I'm doing out here in the yard. I'm actually just trying to do some videos just so I can get an idea if I can load them. I'm telling you, for some reason, I can't load any videos through a program that I've been using, an editing program that I actually bought last year. It's a CorelDRAW program. And it just won't let me do anything. I put in my passwords, my usernames, and it won't let me do anything. The only way I can do anything is if I upload it through the YouTube upload. And I tried doing something through the Google just to see if I could do something there. And the only way I can do it there is if I can upload it from YouTube to Google, as long as I put in the name of the video. So, you know, if I put in a name like cell case or cell phone case, then I got to scan through, you know, a half a dozen or more videos to see which one is actually mine. Thank God for thumbnails. You know, and then I can take it from there and upload it into the YouTube side. But it's different when it goes into the YouTube side. It looks more like a Facebook video. So, but anyway, we'll see what happens. Like I say, I've got a couple videos I'd like to hang on to. Some of them are just, you know, trial and errors. You know, but you know, by no means am I a professional at this. There's the boys. Mickey, Bear, Tucker, he blends right in over here. And the other two long hairs, I don't know where they are. Oh, there's Stuffy. Stuffy. And Nick, not sorry, Nick, there's Nick. Nick's the white guy. Lance must be in the house. Lance likes to lay on my couch when I'm not laying on it. I don't know if it's just, you know, my scent or I just got it wore in proper. Alright, I got some work to do, guys.